views and opinions expressed on Geeks Under the Influence are that of the panelists and not of our sponsors, Amazon.com and TeePublic. Parental discretion is advised.
And so here is James Gunn, where he takes a character that is not a great character. Like, everybody loves to hate this character from Suicide Squad, Peacemaker. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I'm going to make a whole series about it. And I saw today, actually, there was a response from James Gunn where he was responding to a tweet from a long time ago, like, nobody asked for a Peacemaker series. And he said, nobody asked for Star Wars or Indiana Jones. Like, that's the thing, is that if you just make stuff that people are asking for, you're missing a whole lot of opportunity.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's what we got to see with Peacemaker, is that this is a character that was, like, meant to be hated in Suicide Squad. And then to take that character and get you to love him and appreciate the character for all the rough edges, incredibly rough edges. Like, this is paper cuts. Like, so this is very rough edges.
Well, and the whole thing is also, like, even fanboys didn't even originally know who Peacemaker was. Like, even I mean, granted, most of GUI is not DC fans. Fuck you, Kyle.
He's a Superman fan. Okay?
Yeah.
Superman, true.
And he likes Green Arrow. That's not DC.
Yeah, but
you don't hear Green Arrow.
I mean, again, like we.
It's a brony convention.
Like we've already covered, though. Like,
that's actually Shaggy 2 Dope that does that. But
that's
like, literally, he does do
I
that.
know, yeah.
You're talking about a character that nobody's heard of. Oh God, this is already.
All right, we'll bring you back for your piece. We've got to get into the episode.
No, do it.
Yeah, and we'll follow up with Scotty on this. We're already having too much fun with this. This is our episode on Peacemaker. We're going to be talking about the new series on HBO Max and its relation to the original movie that these characters are based from, and what James Gunn working his magic yet again. That I think it was a 44% increase on the last episode from the first episode. So it was one of those that the first episode had a very solid showing that HBO Max was like, sweet, this is awesome. And then by the end of the series, enough people had heard word of mouth or by social media that it was that good that 44% more people saw the fucking finale than they saw the first episode, which is huge.
Right.
That is fucking huge. So, and for good reason. And we're going to get into it. So thank you so much for coming to hang out with us yet again for another episode of Geeks Under the Influence. Welcome!
Things at work and shall be again. A changing of the guards, the tides marching in. You think you can hold out, but you know you're wrong, so you better join us now. You better do it fast, or you will be dead. Lie down on the gun, cause it's compromise the dead. You play it safe.
Do you really want to taste it?
Wow.
I really thought that intro was done by like some 80s band. Like,
No,
it
was done by a band called Wigwam that was out of Canada that came into the glam rock scene in like the mid 2000s.
Was it? Okay.
Sweden.
Sweden.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But no,
it's a real band that wrote that song.
No. I know it's a legit band, but it really, like, when I first heard it, I was just like, was this like some Transformers soundtrack that they pulled the song that guy was like thrown on the editing floor?
I don't know why you would get into glam metal in like the 2000s, but
I got a great story about them too.
Please.
Let's get into the introductions, and then we can get into the story as well. But first off, of course, to my left, the preeminent geek father, the starter of the Geekfathers. If you say who's your daddy in this context, it would be specifically this gentleman.
Yes.
We're talking about Scotty P.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, buddy?
What's happening?
Hey,
guys.
Happy to have you on. This is such a fun conversation that we're going to have. I didn't even write like notes for this because I just want it to be freeform. This is such a fun, stupid show that
if there was just a little bit dialed back, I almost would have showed Logan the series, but I'm glad I watched the first few episodes. It was like, nope. We'll wait.
Oh, there's plenty that is not.
Yeah.
It's just
like the rocker chick.
Mm-hmm.
Rocker chick was a little too much.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes that might be too much was when Vigilante is sitting down with Peacemaker's dad in the prison, and he starts talking about you redneck fucks, and like, it's like the black guys like the ones that fucked your mom and stuff, and trying to goad them into fighting.
That was amazing.
I'm going to try to find that dialogue for the drunken scene because that is one of my favorite fucking dialogues of the entire series. Is him just rimming these redneck.
Well, and talk about a character that came out of his shell, which we'll get into as well. Like came out of nowhere and was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, yeah.
So
And-
perfect.
it was good. Very good.
Speaking about a side character that steals the show whenever he shows up, we've got a long time returning panelist coming back to talk Peacemaker with us. We got the Carltron stand-up extraordinaire here to
Extraordinaire's a stretch. What's happening, guys?
well, stand up.
Yeah. I'm sitting down right now.
Yeah,
so That's how good I am.
It's been what was the last episode you were on?
We were trying to think of that
Yeah,
earlier.
we were talking earlier.
I
when
cannot
just-
remember.
it's
It's
been
been quite a while.
Well,
was-
especially with the pandemic, we were circling wagons with a lot of shows with a lot of the showrunners.
You know
and
what? I
stuff.
think didn't we do a virtual one?
Virtual. Yes, you did a virtual.
That's
Holy
what it was.
shit,
Yeah,
that
That's why I
that.
couldn't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, you did do a
So
virtual.
it's been a couple between, but I did one. I zoomed one with you guys.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
One or two actually.
Yeah, but we're happy to have you back. Fuck, this is
Woo woo.
especially with this kind of style of humor on this show.
Oh,
Like
hell yeah.
you're definitely the right fit for this episode. I'm looking forward to your insights here. Next up, of course, is my my partner in crime on this network and on this episode or this show. Lowdown Brown MacGyver is here.
What's going on, everybody?
I was talking with you about the show, and you hadn't had a chance to watch it yet, and I was like blown away because this is so your sense of humor.
Oh yeah,
Like it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Yep.
it's so like bullseye your
Dude,
sense
I
of
don't-
humor.
I found a lot of shows amusing, and I'm like, no, this is a funny fucking show. But I don't think I've actually laughed out loud this hard at a show. And I mean, where it's like I'm laughing and someone walks in the living room like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I'm fine." Give me a second. Like I'm just like I got to rewind it. It's like, did he just really fucking say that? And there's so many small little things that are, the dialogue's just going in a scene that's so action packed, but then like it stops, like, and there's like dialogue for a second, and there's shit that
Yeah.
they're saying that is just like so fucking funny. Yeah, I loved it.
Steven, you could be the non-racist Peacemaker. Because you'd be talking about something, someone else would chime in, you'd be like, "Shut up! That's not what I'm saying."
Yeah.
That's
But like, you remember that? Like, it's in the finale episode, and this is just one small example, but you know,
Spoilers, duh.
yeah,
Right.
spoilers,
Yeah.
spoilers, spoilers. And they have the initial explosions, and then before they charge in, they meet back behind the fence, and what's her face? Hardcore was like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then she says it so slight.
Yeah,
Dude, that
it's
fucking
just out of nowhere.
That fucking
Yeah.
killed me, dude. I was
Yes.
just like, but there's so much of that. Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
just little things here and there.
Just
I mean, there's
turns up-
obviously the big ones.
the
Turns of
nonchalant
phrase
one-liners.
and the throwaways.
is-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many small things too. I mean, big things too. But like, there's like the small ones. I think actually trump all those big comedic breaks. 'cause
That's
they're
what
so
makes
Yeah.
the rewatchability of the series too, because you're going to be missing some of those jokes here and there. But when you rewatch it, you're like, "Fuck, that's funnier than the big joke that happened right before." it.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's actually how I was doing it when we started watching. The wife and I immediately, like, we watched it together to start the series, and then the next day we would watch it on her profile on HBO Max, and then the next day I would watch it on mine because I wanted to watch it unimpeded. Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
she
yeah.
won't watch anything that I've seen already because I'm such a like nerd about it. I'll like, oh, look, wait for this thing that's coming up. It's like a
Yeah.
reference to.
Yep,
She's
yep.
like, will you just shut up and watch the show? So
Fair.
now I have to
That's
do it
fair.
backwards.
Yeah.
Right.
I have
Yeah.
to watch it with her first, and then go back and do all the goofy things in my head.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah,
the
no,
second time.
I'm the same way with that stuff too. Like, I like to watch
yeah.
it and be able to just like
Just zone in and
Yeah.
yeah,
But
for sure.
you know, as far as jokes go, you know what? There's not a lot of in this show is dad jokes, which I'm sure pissed off the dad joke king extraordinaire, fucking runner of this shit show, Michael Bickett.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
the thing I'm
Yeah.
known
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
is the dad jokes, and I gotta say,
There's not a lot of dad jokes.
as much as I think I'm funny with my fucking dad jokes, like the jokes in this series is above and beyond anything that I have any potential
Yeah.
of ever doing.
Well,
in my
the
life.
dad in this series was definitely not a joke, though.
Oh no, well,
Well, he kind of was.
Well-
He was. He was a total joke. He was a total joke.
Yeah.
He was a total joke.
Another thing we'll totally get into.
that fucking outfit was
Dude.
the most
Right?
obnoxious, ridiculous
Yes.
shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Which was when you see it in this series, at like up in the
this
secret
mannequin.
lair, you're like, this is so stupid. And then when he wears it, you're like, this is also still stupid, but also
It's pretty
fun.
badass.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty badass
too. Yeah.
But dude, like what gets me with him is the flashback scene. That is literally the most hardcore mullet I have ever
Oh my
fucking
God,
seen,
so much.
dude. That is the
Fuck,
trashiest
yes.
fucking mullet, dude.
Which, speaking
Yes.
of trashy mullets, check out GUIPodcast.com for links to this
Hey.
show and the others. But speaking of trashy mullets, there's a new logo for Smack My Pitch Up with Tondi on the logo.
Oh yeah,
as well.
that's
Yep.
pretty rad logo.
Yes.
New co-host on Smack My Pitch Up
I
with
like
me.
it.
And I definitely did the Lethal Weapon thing and stole Mel Gibson's mullet from that. And so I'm fully mulleted, holding a gun with Tondi next to me.
It did
and
look
the-
very rock and roll.
Yeah,
like,
it's very, very, very.
Oh, yes,
Like
yes.
I'm listening to Wigwam in that logo for sure.
Oh, so yeah, the story about Wigwam that I was going to tell you.
Yes, yes.
So, and I don't remember where I read it or heard about it. It was shortly after I think episode 3 came out. The buzz was really kicking up online about everybody's like, holy shit, this is really actually good. People were really starting to ramp up, like you said, the numbers. But it turns out that Wigwam's been like a band for quite a while, like
Yeah.
since the early mid 2000s.
Yeah, I think it was like 2009 is when I looked it up.
And it turns out that their manager dumped them
I
3
read that.
days before the show premiered.
I read that. I was like, what?
They were like,
What?
he was like, I just can't do this anymore. He's like, we've been trying this for like 10 plus years, and you guys are just, this is not going anywhere. Nobody listens to this shit anymore. And he dumped them, and they were like, are you sure? Because we just sold 2 songs to this show that's going to be coming out.
Right.
And he's like, nobody's going to it doesn't matter. He goes, you guys are throwaways. And he like
God damn.
dogged the shit out of them.
Fuck.
And then the show came out,
And then they're on like the Today
fucking
Show doing a
exploded.
Right.
Yeah. They exploded.
Not just exploded, but they I think it was the Apple rock charts. They were number 1 with "Do You Want to Taste It?"
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like they're selling so much, so many at least singles.
And Gunn came on came out. I think it was on Twitter about that to their defense too. Was like, and we've got another song of theirs in episode. I think it said 7.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
like, it's gonna be. He's like,
Yeah.
these guys are awesome. Like because they literally embody the entire point of the whole thing.
Exactly.
I watched an interview with James Gunn where he was talking about somebody was asking him about music in his shows and movies and stuff, and he talked about how with Peacemaker it made natural sense that he was into like glam metal.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, 100%. That totally
Absolutely.
tracks. And so he wanted to, as far as that, not just do the 80s glam metal, but feature a thing that's actually popular in Europe is like the kind of like post glam rock. You know, it's like a newer version of it. And they're one of the bands that are known for being in that genre. And he was really stoked to like feature these people. Like he is a music nerd.
Yeah.
He's a
Absolutely.
nerd. Period.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, completely like
Right.
in every aspect of his life.
Well, that's what's funny about the so I've never been a fan of hair metal. Like really, my like people I've dated have always like, I'm like, okay, cool. I know some songs, I know some bands, whatever.
Yeah.
So when he's flipping through the Rocker Chicks records and the Choir Boys and all, I'm going, those are all made up names, and they turns out they're not.
No,
They're
no,
not-
they're
Dude,
not. No.
He's wearing. First off, he's wearing a pretty boy
With
Floyd shirt.
Yeah.
I did have a quick question about the show.
Sure.
Because as much as I love Peacemaker, who played Peacemaker? Because I couldn't see him.
Oh,
Oh
stop.
God!
Jesus.
Damn, see, this is the problem with the dad jokes: is when we have the geek father on, who legitimately, as a father, is
No,
allowed
no.
dad jokes.
Even if you did it, you don't get points for that because that's just too fucking easy. And like other people outside of here have said that.
300
Tough
people
shit.
online.
You're just
No.
mad because you didn't say it first.
I would not have said it.
What were we going to start with on this?
The transition from Suicide Squad, the timeline.
Oh.
how it
Oh,
just
right,
carries
right,
over
yeah,
to
yeah.
All right,
Peacemaker.
so yeah, that is a real challenge that you have this character that was like fundamentally hated for the character. I mean, loved for it being like a fun character to follow, but like is not a good guy. Is not
Right.
somebody that you're going to root for the most part. Like he killed Rick Flag. And a lot of people, when they mention Peacemaker series, they're like, fuck, I'm not going to watch the show. He killed Rick Flag. And at that point, it's like, you know, these are fake characters, right? Like, you don't, like, he didn't, it's not like he murdered Betty White. Like, this is like, these are fake
He
characters.
might have.
You leave Betty White out of this.
He brought it up.
But yeah, to find redemption with the character, that's a hard turn. And
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
interesting to see how that went.
Well, and that was one of the things, like, they announced the Peacemaker series before the movie came out, right?
Right,
Like,
yeah,
They
yeah.
said,
Yeah.
you know, one of the... So obviously you knew something horrific wasn't going to happen. Well, anymore that doesn't even matter. People die constantly in movies and get back, and
especially comic book movies. Come on.
Yeah, I was
absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
yeah.
But
Unless it's Uncle Ben. There's no Uncle Ben comic in Marvel, you know? Like,
Right,
he comes back and
exactly.
he's a secret superhero.
I love his rice.
Yeah.
Haha. We're all going to do a dad joke around the table for the night. All right.
Yeah.
But no,
Never mind.
that was the thing was I liked, so his character was just a throwaway character to me when the movie came out until the scene where they're trying to go through and him and Bloodsport are both like just killing different people in different ways.
Yeah.
That was like them
yeah.
just showing off to each other was
Yeah.
probably one of the best moments.
Yeah.
But the moment that sealed the deal for me, and again, I never watched wrestling. I wasn't a big, like, I was like John Cena. I'd seen him in like one or two things, and he was just like a blah character, not character actor, but a blah character. And the moment that sealed the deal for me is when Bloodsport said, "Nobody likes a show off," and he goes, "Unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck," and he goes, damn it, he's right. And that moment sealed the deal for me on his character, because I was like,
Yep.
that's fucking amazing.
And then
Like,
the genius
and
line
the way he
only
delivered
because,
it.
like,
Yeah.
if Bloodsport didn't like sign off on it after that, it wouldn't have been as funny.
wouldn't
but
have
the
been a
fact that
split-up
Bloodsport's
punch.
like, yeah, no, fuck, that's
Fuck,
true.
he's right. He's
That is
right.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So fucking
Just
perfect.
gave it that little extra essence.
Yeah. So good. But
Gunn does that well. He does
Yes.
that well.
Yes.
you understand from the movie why Waller would want to utilize this character again, because it's somebody that is morally flexible. Well, all of them really are, but
Right.
also is one that looks at the end game without considering the morality that gets you there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where he's willing to kill somebody that he had a
Men,
lot of
women, and
respect
children.
for. Yeah, like
No matter how many women.
Yeah, men,
he's
women,
looking at
and
the
children.
the bottom line before anything else. Like, there's nothing else that is considered. So he's doing really terrible things because he's doing it in the name of freedom. And
Right.
Peace.
for
peace,
what
yeah.
he thinks is what should it be the end all be
Yeah.
all for peace and prosperity in
Yeah.
America.
Well,
you
it's
know?
also, I mean, he's kind of not a parody, but he's kind of a parallel of like the U.S. military or whatever. All the people that do the things
Sure.
they do, they don't
Yeah.
get a say in it. It's
Yeah.
the people above them that tell them what to do. He's as a character, which they fleshed out in the series from his dad, he does the things that he does because he kind of was goaded that way. Like he's been made to do those things his whole life.
Yeah.
And now he's finally coming to terms with it.
I went into the series expecting to at least appreciate it to a certain degree. Like, I did have a relatively high bar for this because I love what James Gunn does.
Yeah.
It's definitely my wheelhouse of humor. And what sold it to me was, like, first off, right out the gate, when he gets out of the hospital room and he runs into the janitor that he smoked weed with,
Yeah.
and which is a character actor that's been in fucking everything, including like Seinfeld and shit.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That he's fucking hilarious, and they have this like long conversation where I'm like, okay, this is why James Gunn loves the series version instead of a movie, because he has the time to like just
Flush it out.
flush out
Yep.
those conversations. And the fact that he's like, dude, we smoked weed together, and his response was like, I'm not going to pretend that wasn't a nice moment. That he responded like, no, I also agree, that was a very sweet like moment between us. But then he's like, oh, you're the racist superhero, and then he's like, I promise to kill more white people. I was like, that's all I'm asking. Was the fucking brilliant, fucking brilliant.
Well, and that all happened in the first episode, but plus, what was it by episode 6 or 7? Where because the guy's like, you owe me a favor, and then all of a sudden he's at the guy's kid's school
school, yeah.
for a career day.
Yeah.
But that shitty kid that calls him out and was like, I see through you, you're a loser. And he's like,
Yeah.
That we were talking about that earlier too, was the throwaway lines, the Schwarzenegger and stuff like that. Every time he called on a kid and he just belittled the shit out of Fatty or whatever,
Yeah.
he would just
Oh, yeah.
he gave him little
yeah,
nicknames.
future 2025 Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. And like, but no, but it was
And
an
they were-
Asian kid. It was fucked up about
yeah.
it. It was,
It
an
was
Asian
those kind of quips and those kind of like just
Oh my god.
things for him to be able to take what happens spur of the moment for most people and then just like file it away and use it in something like that, or even to sit down and go, okay, this is the kind of character he is. What would he say in this moment? Like,
Yeah.
just to be able to do that and not just get from A to B the simple way
Yeah.
is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
that's just one of the things I like the most.
But also in that moment, we're talking about like the Asian kid gets called like the 2025 Rubik's Cube champion. Is that with Peacemaker, part of the challenge of that character is that he was raised by literally like a clan member superhero.
Yeah, super villain.
Super,
Let's-
he was
villain.
the-
Sorry,
Yeah.
villain.
So what was he, the Grand?
Well, they
The-
just
the
call, it was the
white
White
villain?
Dragon.
White Dragon.
Right,
Yeah.
I know, but he like his position is like whatever they call the
Like Grand Wizard.
Grand Wizard or
whatever.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
fucking-
Yeah, and
the
so
Grand-
like he's making the most like
Flintstone.
abysmal.
Yeah.
And by the way, credit to that fucking actor. Like he's
The
incredible.
T1000.
Yeah, T1000.
Robert Patrick?
Robert
Yes.
Patrick.
which they did a previous movie together in the Marine, actually.
Yeah, you're
John
right.
Cena and-
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
But the fact that he's able to like deliver these like incredibly like upsetting racist lines with a straight face,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
like lean
the
in,
cringe on
fuck
that.
the cringe
Yeah,
on like
dude.
that means my chopsticks and shit was so much.
yeah,
so
dude,
fucking
it was
much.
so much.
But the fact that they were able to find that balance where he was able to be that racist, but in the context of the scene, it didn't come off as like
Gratuitous.
yeah, or taking advantage of the situation to make racist jokes, because it wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't. It was making fun of him being racist.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
What the
right.
jokes
exactly.
did.
And
Yep.
that was the thing that again, there's a very fine line, because there's tons of there's examples of movies constantly where, I mean, Tarantino's been accused of it, where he just
Oh sure.
throws it in there all the time. But
Yeah, yeah.
the fact that they did it in such a nuanced way without it being new, like he was that character. I was talking to him earlier about it. It was like I think it was another interview. I read a bunch of stuff on this before you guys even asked me to do this, but it was it was one of those things where he said, I don't know if I want to do this particular kind of character unless I can do it all the way. He goes, I don't want to, because he did it serious. Like he did it, I'm this guy. I'm
Yeah,
this
there's
character.
a bunch of
The
people dancing
humor-
around in tutus around him, and
Yeah.
he's playing it stone cold.
Correct.
Yeah,
So the thing
yeah.
with Robert Patrick doing this the way he did it was he leaned into it as if he were that character without playing it funny.
Yeah.
But the humor in the stuff that they use is the banter back and forth when he calls her chopsticks and and she turns
Yeah.
it around and
Turns it around,
just-
and then the
just
dude turns
fucking
in and it's
hammers
just
it
like
to him, yeah.
booyah or something.
Yeah.
just that kind of writing and that kind of directing makes things like this possible.
Yeah.
Like because think about any other actor that would have done something, or any other director that would have done something like this and put that. They would have played the fact that he was super racist just as a flat thing.
Yeah.
And the way they did it and the way he acted it, that's what makes the stuff. That's what makes the stuff that Gunn does. He takes things that you don't even think about, puts them right up in front of your face,
Yep.
and makes it believable.
Yep.
And even outside of just the fact that he's just a racist piece of shit, but like the first conversation they have when he's eating the chili, like Robert Patrick acted it so hard with that laugh that he literally
my
thought
God.
that it was funny that father made those sons do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and that he actually you're right. So it was so straight faced. It wasn't like oh, that was clever. No, he like choked on his food because he was laughing so hard.
Right.
But when you watch the scene, it's comedic because like there's no way. Like I mean the way it was shot, like it made it funny by him doing
And
it.
the turn of that scene being like, oh, and then that person that we're making fun of is the one that bested you, which makes you a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It completely
Right.
informs their relationship, where he's clearly wanting to get like praise from his father, and then literally by actively trying to get that, it turns on him, and it makes him more of a fool to his dad.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that makes his character sympathetic too, as a
Oh, yeah.
100%, yeah.
and it colors the character you see in the movie, like in Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
You look at it and he's this guy and he's I'll kill everybody for freedom, and it's like, okay, that seems fairly one-dimensional, but the fact that he was able to flesh it out in the series the way he did and do it so well, and honestly, I was completely blown away how well I'm drawing a blank on his name. John Cena
Yeah.
did
Oh, yeah.
doing that. I didn't think he would have any kind of range.
This is the most range I've seen him do.
That's
Oh
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Like,
Normally John Cena does like bit parts for the
He's like
usually
a traditional
dumb-
wrestler.
or like you said, like the Marine where he just had to play the big buff.
He's
dude
the
that was
traditional wrestler
badass
going into
or
acting,
whatever.
right? Like I mean, that's most actors have it.
But-
That wrestlers have a niche outside of The Rock.
Yeah. Well, The Rock is a different creature.
But most
altogether,
actors
so.
have gone into it. Stone Cold, fucking. And one of Hardy Boys in a movie and shit like that.
Goldberg and the whole 9 yards, or not whole 9 yards. Shit, Longest Yard.
Yeah.
They play a one-dimensional character, and it's very
yeah.
flat, and that's what he's done before.
Yeah.
The fact that that's why I was like, oh god, I don't know if this is going to be cool or not. Prove me
Right.
wrong.
Killed it.
But I was even gonna say, because again, like, much respect to like John Cena and of course Robert Patrick for his history, like, as just in different
everything.
geeky, yeah. I mean, just geek shit.
Icon.
I give his character the official Geekfather cringe.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was like, as a parent, like, you know it's a comic book related. You know it's supposed to be funny to some extent, but at the same time, you're like, oh my god, he did that to his child.
Yeah,
what
dude.
The
And that
fuck?
didn't seem outside the realm of
Right.
possibility.
No,
Right,
it was-
exactly. You know,
You look
Especially
at a
the
character
flashback.
like Peacemaker,
yeah.
where
Oh,
he is at the very least problematic as a person, and the way that he focuses or the way he approaches the world, and the way that you kind of get to a place of defending him and wanting to be on his side, is you have somebody so much worse than him.
Mhm.
That you see where he came from, and then by meeting his father, you see the growth that he's already gone through
And the
before
sympathy.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
before he's even at that place where, like, okay, he could have been this abysmal racist piece of shit, and he pushed past that, where he's got some old school ideologies about stuff.
And the way he
But
talks
exactly,
about things.
The way he talks-
Yeah.
But it's almost like that old redneck neighbor where they don't hate the gays, but they call them the gays.
Yeah.
You know, where like
Yeah.
like he doesn't really have an issue with anybody, but he doesn't know how to really approach it in a
Correct.
more modern
Correct.
way. So you get that, because everybody knows that person. Everyone knows that
yeah,
person.
well, you named it. It is definitely the white trash of just like where he definitely listened to the glam metal, but had that classic 80s jock mentality,
Sure, yeah.
you know, where it was just like, how do you do that? But he's like, but I'm not racist, but because you're black, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, wait, did you just say what
he's
I
the guy
think
that
you
if-
did?
if-
You know,
if he was-
like,
Put in a situation where it was near like a black dude around his age, he'd be like, I've listened to Run DMC, and the black dude's like, what the fuck is that have to do with anything? Like, just like completely confused about how to interact with people outside of like his.
I thought it was great that Run DMC did a video with Aerosmith back in the
Yeah,
day.
and the dude's like, we're at the DMV. I don't know what this has to do with anything.
Cross relations on MTV, you know?
And he's literally just trying to find some like common element, but he's just completely inept at doing it. That's this character.
Yeah, and the fact that he, again, like you said, he's basically crawling his way out of that thing, and that's actually what the series surprised me with too. Was, you know, you see him in the Suicide Squad, and he's this character. I'll kill anybody for freedom, and then he follows orders from Waller and kills Flag and does all those things, and was going to kill Ratcatcher and all this other stuff.
Sure.
He's doing all those things. How do you redeem that person? Well, you show what made him that person.
Yeah, exactly.
And you show how he's trying. He's not doing well at it at first, but he's trying.
Yeah.
But like again, like by the time you get to the finale, I can't remember his fucking character's name, but he dyes his beard.
Diebeard.
Diebeard.
Yeah.
No, but
Economist.
Economist.
Yeah.
Like when he gets stopped by the butterfly and he like
Oh, yeah.
acts, and then you hear him talk about his dyeing his beard
Well-
and all this other stuff, and then you see Peacemaker's face when he hears that. So now at the finale, you understand that Peacemaker's feeling the consequences and what he does to other people.
100%.
And that is
Right.
beautiful. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful
And
art.
that's one of the things they said that, and that's one of the things I've always said. Gunn does that really well. Is that that was a joke, a running joke in the thing. Diebeard,
like,
Diebeard,
all the way,
Diebeard,
all the
Diebeard.
way. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And you think it's just a nonchalant throwaway
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and then to have a moment like that
The impact right there,
I'll be honest
yeah.
with you. I'm not a terribly emotional guy, but there were two scenes in the finale that made me like feel feelings.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
that was
the
one.
dialogue with the Diebeard, and you can
Yeah.
see everyone's face, and they're like, "Oh my god, and he like even
Because no one backed him up the whole time
No.
either.
Well,
That was the whole
no.
thing.
even the
yeah.
way Steve Agee delivered the lines. There's a part in when he's talking about it where his voice cracks.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I've been that guy
Yes.
doing that thing.
Well,
Yeah.
he's the awkward, chubby nerd in all of us that we've all been.
Literally,
there at
he's
some-
just
Yeah.
taller than us.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
literally the difference.
He's a
But-
gigantic man.
Yeah, but then
yes.
the second part was, and this is just because I'm kind of a creature nerd, was the fucking cow. Like the cow's face
Yeah.
made me sad.
Yeah.
Like what? Like well, all of its eyeballs being big, black, and like teary eyed.
But it's that little buck tooth thing that it had in its
that one
mouth,
fucking
where it was just like, it just,
Do that again.
yeah,
What was that?
Playing the part of the cow.
What'd you call me? You called me fat? No, I'm just sorry. Well, and with all that emotion as well, you also saw it opposite with Peacemaker. With, of course, I'm blanking all the characters' names, but when Waller's daughter,
Tasty.
Adebayo.
Just call it Tasty.
yeah, Tasty, because that's all I think of as Tasty from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tasty.
I love that character in that show.
I know,
too.
man.
She was the
Fantastic
best. She is
Yeah,
awesome. I
she
hope
is
she
good.
does so much more. She's great.
Comedic timing for fucking days.
Absolutely.
What the fuck? Like when she fucking gets humor torpedo.
Yeah. The human torpedo.
Holy shit.
Dude, the dialogue between her and Hargrove when she's like
Harcourt.
Sorry,
Harcourt.
damn it. And she goes, "I saw an eagle hug a man, and I thought it was a sign." She goes, "Didn't you think it was a sign that you should have just left?" And she goes, "Fuck."
Yeah. But
Just that moment of realization
Yeah.
that she's able to do
Yeah.
well, she
in her face
Yeah.
and in
Well,
her
she-
like body. She's like,
you saw so much of that in Orange is the New Black as well. Like she, again, like those type
I
of
have
just
never
like,
watched
oh
that.
shit, I totally made the wrong decision again.
Yeah.
But the whole to flip it around was how she treated Peacemaker, and how you come to realize that towards the end of the series, like he was like, "No, I thought we were friends."
Yeah.
Oh, the fart scene.
The
Oh, God,
farts
that
were
was
awesome,
fucking
you know. But
so I take it. Actually, that makes three feels, three in the feels, because when he
Big feels.
says, "Don't tell Eagly,"
Or no, don't tell-
don't tell
don't tell V,
Vigilante, don't
yeah.
tell
Yeah.
V. He goes, "Don't tell
Yeah.
V," but it goes Eagly and then you, and she goes like that, and she puts her hand up. Like I was like, "God damn it, feels
right,
Well,
all the emotions
with her specifically, that is something that I've seen in interviews with James Gunn about this series, that he really wanted to make. Mainly, one of the big conversations that comes from this is that he wanted people to, especially in this day and age, with everything going around and people being at each other's throats all the time, is that he wanted to convey the idea that people from different backgrounds with different opinions about things can be friends.
Yeah.
right.
And that
I wonder if the storyboard was, all right, this is a racist Peacemaker character. I want by the end of the series him to be best friends with a black lesbian.
yeah,
Like,
how do we do that?
tell
Yeah.
this story, sir. And
Yeah.
then
The
he was
thing
like, got it.
It actually worked. Is that and part of that was that the empathy that she was conveying, that she wanted to try to understand where Peacemaker was coming from.
Yeah.
That she wasn't willing to shut it off completely. Like, oh, he's a racist piece of shit white boy. Like, I'm not gonna give him the time of day. She, as the story went, understood him a little bit better and understood where he came from and why he was the way that he was, as a lot of the other characters did. But she was on the front of that line.
Yeah, she read his file.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
the
Right,
fact that she
right.
brings that up later and was like, I read your file. Your dad made you do that.
Yeah.
You can not forgive me, but you've got to learn to let that stop
And-
making
and
that
you've
who
got
you
to
are.
forgive
Yeah.
yourself.
Well,
Like,
she does. I
this
thought
is-
she was going to say that, but she
Right.
says you
No,
gotta-
she doesn't
can't let
say
that
it.
control who you are.
Right.
are.
This whole series is just a conversation about when you go on fucking Facebook, instead of being like, fuck you, you're a piece of shit, as your response to stuff, which I'm guilty of. Like, I'm not going to pretend I'm not.
You try to do it with big words, though.
I do use bigger words,
Yes.
which confuses people. So,
Yes.
but instead,
It's funny.
maybe come from an empathetic way of like, why do you feel this? Ask questions instead of condemning
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what this series does. Is
Knee-jerk.
it asks questions. It gives everyone in this series an opportunity to better understand each other because of experiencing life with them.
Well, and again, the way James Gunn did the ebb and flow of everything, because of course you hit the great peak of the whole conversation of Hanoi Rocks and the 11th Street Kids
Fuck,
song.
that was such a great moment.
Yep.
Dude, and that was, that was the first moment, but then like the next time you see them crumble, you're like, but the 11th Street Kids song was, what happened,
Yeah.
like it really got that feeling of just like, all right, everybody's in their thing, but there's still shit that's got to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that they do with this too is they manage to take things that seem completely unrelated and tie them together in a way, because Peacemaker's coming from this direction and she's coming from that direction and Harcourt's coming from this direction. Like, it's all this different angles to get them to the same goal, and then they discover those little things about each other, like the tattoo on his arm, like all
Right,
that stuff.
right,
The
yeah.
way the way he does that and the way it ties it together, just you feel a part of it really easily. Like it's not a like because
Yeah.
that's how like I mean shit. Some of us come from completely different backgrounds, but
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
things like this bring you together. Like it's that one thing that's like
What's the reminder that
the thread
you
that
might
goes
have a
through it all.
lot of things different with one another, but there is that one common thread that might be enough for you to understand who this person is.
Or at least start something.
or at least
yeah.
to try.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Diebeard and fucking Peacemaker, it was fucking Hanoi Rocks. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
You got a Hanoi Rocks tattoo? Okay, I'm going to
yeah.
give you less shit.
Well, actually, by like the end, like they all came together with one common thread, and it was like there's no wrong time to rock.
Yeah,
That was literally
exactly.
the team's mantra by
Yep.
the end. Like everyone said it at one point,
Yep.
and that was fucking rad,
And
dude.
of course, we haven't even talked about the alien invasion yet.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
fair.
We're just talking about the
literally
feels.
plot. The plot.
Yeah.
Which that's actually a good time.
The
for
alien
us to-
invasion was simple though.
it's a good time
but
for us to take
fun.
a break.
fun.
We're going to talk about the alien invasion more on the second half.
Yes.
Let's take a break here so you can hear about some of the other shows on the network.
Yay!
And talk about our sponsors, get into what we're drinking, and maybe by the end of the night do a drunken scene or two. So stick around. We will be right back.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
F.U. Hunter.
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May the schlock be with you.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm F.U. Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
Hey guys, Scotty P here with Smash on your left. And we are the Geekfathers. That's right, bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent.
So welcome to our world.
And as always, join us.
Or cry.
In a world with too many reboots and remakes,
two men will stop at nothing to make it even worse.
join Mike the Hobbit and Tondi as they play by their own rules while pitching new takes on some of your favorite and least favorite films and TV shows. What podcast would dare to bring this upon the world?
This is Smack My Pitch Up.
We're back for the second half of Geeks Under the Influence, all things Peacemaker from HBO Max. Before we get into that, we're going to get into our sponsors a little bit. Of course, it's Amazon.com. Just bought a bunch of stuff for the studio recently and made sure to do it through Amazon.com. And I think you should do the same because every little bit counts. If you purchase toilet paper or computer equipment or a movie or a TV series that we mention on Amazon, we get credit for it if you go through the link at GUIPodcast.com. That way, spending the same amount of money, we get credit for it. And so you're taking a little bit more money away from Amazon and giving it to people that really need it.
I don't think we're talking about the squatty potties as much from Amazon these days.
Not as much. Although I would say that if you do want a squatty potty, Amazon.com is a good place to get it.
Very
for
true.
Sure. Yeah.
Whatever little money you get taken away from Amazon will help us launch Hobbit into space.
Yes.
There you go.
And who doesn't want me to leave this earth?
Oh, the list that would
The
bring.
list, it's a long list.
It
yeah.
is. Woo.
Of course, the best way to support us, though, is through merch.
Absolutely.
TeePublic. Oh, my God. We have so much stuff available through TeePublic, and we're going to be adding more stuff very soon. We've got some new beautiful disaster stuff. Hopefully, one day they'll approve the Dune design.
Oh, really?
It's still. I sent an email. Hopefully, that'll get released soon.
Wow. It's been like...
Because that's going to be a legitimate, give an approval by the film company shirt. So it has to go through a lot more.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
stuff.
you're absolutely right on that.
But even with that, we've got close to 40 designs available on our site, on our TeePublic page, from all the different shows, inside jokes from the different shows.
Geekfathers finally is coming down to, I want to say, at least up to 3 new designs that should be expected in the next couple months.
Excellent. I'm so excited.
So,
we've got a lot of stuff that are, I'm finally going to get the Geek Fighter design out here pretty soon.
I love that one.
That's such a cool design.
Yeah.
And plenty more. So keep track of our TeePublic page. If it's not on sale right now, wait like a week and it'll be on sale at some point. Keep checking
almost
back.
every weekend.
It's
basically.
on sale all the time.
Yeah.
So go to our link, GUIPodcast.com/store, or just click on the TeePublic link on our homepage, and that'll send you right to the TeePublic store. Tons of stuff, and it's not just T-shirts. It's magnets and buttons and stickers and baby onesies and pillows.
Yes.
I know, Scotty, pillows. Yeah.
Hey, I was trying to be
your
good.
face is
I
on a
mean, I'll bring
pillow.
up pillows if you want.
Your face is on a pillow. I know.
Damn right.
Dear God.
So yeah,
Yes,
plenty of cool shit.
I'll tell you that story.
Plenty
later.
of fun designs, and not even just our logos and stuff. There's plenty of just like fun inside joke nerd stuff that's on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Live, Laugh, Love Human Centipede shirt that I'm a big fan
I
of.
still need to get that design. I've
That's
fallen behind on that one.
Great.
Yeah.
That's sold pretty
Phrasing.
well.
I have that as a magnet.
Falling behind.
Then, of course,
Come on.
Our Tucci
walked
Gang
into
shirt, of course,
I
which
did.
is like selling weirdly
I still
well.
don't understand it.
Which one?
The Tucci
Tucci
Gang
Gang.
shirt is selling
I
so
don't
well.
fucking get it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Tucci is pretty awesome, but
I mean, yeah.
but I
definitely.
mean,
As in
Stanley
Tucci?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a
that's what
Tucci
see?
Gang shirt.
Oh, yeah.
See, I was like,
I mean, I
don't get-
love Stanley Tucci, but I'm not okay.
It's a great design,
That's what
but
I'm saying.
holy shit,
I
if
don't
is
get
it it's outselling everything else on the fucking TeePublic page.
that is just weird because there's no reference to that joke either.
Well, I think probably somebody
Underground.
linked it on Reddit or something somewhere.
Oh,
That
okay,
had
okay.
to be
Fair-
the case.
Fair
but-
enough.
yeah.
Fair enough.
Meanwhile, we find out one day that it's just Stanley Tucci buying shirt after shirt after
Just-
shirt.
that's all
I
it
give them
gives-
out at Christmas. It's
exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And my response to that is thank you, Stanley Tucci, for buying shirts instead of like suing us. So,
Right?
yeah.
Basically,
Cool.
yeah.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
going to buy all these, and then I'm going to sue them for all the money that I spent on.
Right.
That's what we
All
call
the
getting Tucci'd.
Yeah. I got tooched real hard.
Oh,
Right in the tooch.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, he probably won't approve that design.
No.
So that's our sponsors. Next up is the real fuel that fuels this fire here. We're talking about what we're drinking.
Hey, we're fucking drinking. We're getting drunk. You want to know? Well, here you go. Hey,
We're drinking. We're getting drunk.
Woo!
That's a new tag on the end.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Bo from Avail.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
on.
I was like,
Oh yeah, okay.
3 years ago.
3
Something-
years.
Something like
3
that.
years.
Oh, God. It all-
Summer of 2019.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
after the pandemic, nothing, time is a flat
Oh, yeah,
circle.
timeline
Before,
is-
He was,
before he moved out of the country.
He was back.
Yeah,
He was
right.
back in the country.
Yeah, we saw him
We
last
saw him
week
at,
at the metal
Obituary
show.
show,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
Yep.
you're going to hear some mixing because I have a very special drink for everybody here.
I felt bad because I saw him and
Still really doing this.
I was like, hey, I went to get him home. He was like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's just like, it's just a tour stuff. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't anything local though. You know,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was the Avail show down in Georgia and all that stuff. Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
If you're going to
Here's the
puke
thing.
into this.
Honestly, I mean, it doesn't smell horrible.
Okay, so
Doesn't
what,
smell
what we're
great,
doing,
doesn't smell
Did
horrible.
never mind.
what we're doing, there is a scene in episode 5
Super
of
colon
Peacemaker where they do a drink called the Peace Train. Now, the Peace Train is an actual drink that has like yellow chartreuse and some other stuff in it. This is, as James Gunn put it, Peacemaker's version of it that he would have come up with at 2:00 in the morning. So this
We've
has
all been there.
gin, sweet vermouth. Now I did red wine vinegar instead of distilled white vinegar because I don't hate anything that comes under the cupboard. I don't feel like should be a mixer for anything. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was nice and did red wine vinegar instead, and pepper and
Oh,
butter.
that's right. Oh, I see the pepper in the
Yeah,
bottom.
there's pepper in there too.
Good
So
Lord.
this is not.
Oh.
Granted, we normally do this where it's something that you should be drinking.
They did it
during-
as a full drink, though, didn't
It's,
they?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did little shots because I actually want to be friends
It's
with you after this.
separated.
But I will say
Oh.
that this is, I would say, anybody listening, do the Peacemaker Challenge. Record yourself making this drink and put it up on there. Tag us, tag James Gunn.
I was about to say,
this
this is for James Gunn.
This is for
because
James Gunn.
He's the
Bro,
only reason
I
why
will
we
drink
would do
this. I will drink this for the quality of things he's made for
James
us.
Gunn,
fair.
I'm not
asshole.
drinking. I'll be honest.
I'll
I'm
drink
not
a
drinking
shit
the whole
drink.
thing.
No,
I'm going to sip.
You're pussy.
This,
Yeah.
Get it done. Just get
Don't
it done.
sip.
Just get it
like,
done.
Just
throw it
do
back.
it.
All right.
All right, here we go.
All right,
Oh,
here
no.
we go.
Cheers.
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 Peace
All right.
strain.
We're the new Suicide Squad.
Oh, God. All right.
Here we go.
I got the vinegar layer.
I shot it past my tongue as much as possible.
Me too.
Yeah, it kind of hit the back, so.
Mine hit the back, but then
No,
you have to remember, I have no uvula, so it just went everywhere in my mouth.
what's really great is I got all the chunky butter at the bottom of the
Just
fucking
stuck,
thing.
just stuck
Oh
in there.
yeah, that's got a really hard back end. there.
I had the oily from the butter right now.
This
Oh,
is,
God.
I hate everything right now. Thank you, Hobbit.
As a bourbon ginger, you can take a sip if
Thank
you
you.
need it. Yeah.
Oh, dear Lord.
Holy shit.
That's how much we love James Gunn.
Mm.
Oh.
Okay, look, there are far worse drinks that I've had at the bar. Like after I turned 21 and I picked all the drinks.
I want the.
I want to
It
try
had
this
a
thing.
cool name. Yeah.
And it's the bartenders being like, nobody actually orders that. Fuck. All right. I want a Baltimore Zoo, and they're like, just drink a Long Island and beer, like because it's just a Baltimore Zoo is just a Long Island iced tea with a shot of beer in it.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And they're like, just drink a beer after you sip your drink. Just don't do this to yourself.
There is a drink that I had heard of and only ordered. You can't order the real thing because first of all, you can't say the word, and you can't, and no one keeps feminine hygiene products on tap behind a bar. But there is a drink that they make that is. I was anticipating this tasting like that, and it did not.
This is not as bad as what they call the bar rag or the
C word pump.
Yeah,
that's the one I was talking about.
The C word.
There are worse.
I would say it, but you know.
This I would say is if you want to do a drink challenge based on a
TV show
or something.
Yeah,
this is doable. It's not
totally
awesome.
Doable.
It is.
I wonder what it would taste like with the white wine vinegar or white vinegar.
Well, and that's what, like people that are stronger than us. I want to see
the people that are. You're the same kind of people that did the Tide Pod challenge, probably.
Yeah. Or what was the condom snort challenge? I think was one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That was the thing.
Oh
yeah. So us in our age, we are doing the Peacemaker Peace Train challenge. We give it to our
and
listeners,
we survived.
So give it a try. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And it's not awesome. It is definitely not awesome.
No, it's not
definitely
awesome.
should not be a regular thing, but James Gunn, we fucking love you.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate it.
We were willing to try.
Real hard.
We really wanted to taste it.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that.
No, we didn't. We didn't do that. All right.
Do you really want to taste it? All right, let's do it again. Let's record it one more time.
All right, let me make another
Take
round
two.
of-
Go make some more.
Oh
Fuck.
God.
Anyway, yeah. So
Wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be.
No, it wasn't, but it was still not good.
But like I said,
I mean, but I've drank vinegar before because, like, this helps cure syphilis or whatever
apple
the fuck.
cider vinegar and shit. Yeah,
right. Or I need to take a pee test.
No, does it help cure? Was it scabies? Everyone needs a good case of scabies.
Just scabies.
No.
Remember the scabies helmet?
Yeah.
Scabies
that's
for all.
right.
Yeah,
Scabies for all.
That's shit.
It gives
yeah,
everybody in
good
a 1
segue,
mile
good
radius
segue.
scabies except for the wearer.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Why?"
Well,
so-
and his dad said everybody's got to experience scabies at least once.
Yeah.
Going into the second half, we leaving the first half of the episode, we talked about that we haven't talked about the invasion at all,
Right.
Mhm.
and it was kind of interesting to see that the aliens on their own, they were not actually trying to like take over the world necessarily, so much as that there was two different contingencies. There was literally one butterfly that was like, now y'all need to be able to be in charge of your own destiny. Like that's
Right.
not cool that people take it over. And the other butterflies, it wasn't that they were like evil assholes. They were just like, no, you're gonna die.
It was.
We know how to save you.
It was
that-
cultish.
Yeah, it was.
It was very
It was
cultish.
very cultish. Yeah.
But at
and it
the
was also
same-
surrender your
Free will.
your free will
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Well,
us.
and honestly,
Yeah.
what's ironic about that is when she's giving the speech, when Goff's giving the speech about why they're doing it, they make it sound really good, like really important. So I'm
for
thinking,
sure.
oh God, he's going to go that direction. He's going to support them. and in true Gunn form,
I loved it so much.
Completely flips the script and does the opposite of what you think you're like, oh God, no, he's gonna help save like humanity.
Right.
And everything
right.
she was saying was so topical too.
Oh, sure.
Like, and I mean,
yeah.
he did that. Obviously, he did that on
Yes,
purpose.
he did
But
it
it's
on purpose.
so well done.
Yeah.
So well done.
No, so if he hadn't have flipped the script, I would have probably been pissed and would have stopped watching it. That would have fucking infuriated
well, and
me.
see, while you're watching it though, I don't know. I was like, I was going along with it. I was Peacemaker going, oh, you guys took a vow to save humanity. I'm gonna completely be on. And then he just, yeah. The again, it was like while it was happening, I was completely like. Buying into it like everybody.
That goes into the character of Peacemaker, and part of the reason why he was such a problem in the Suicide Squad is that he's not looking at the bigger picture. Captain America will go against the government if it means that the government is being immoral or being wrong.
Yep.
He'll be like, fuck you, government, and stand against it. Peacemaker is dumb. Like, he is a dumb man. So really, like, he is given a direction, and he's told, freedom is that way. And he's like, cool, freedom that way? Cool, I'm going that way. And if somebody's like, no, freedom is actually this way, and he's like, you're not my dad. And then, like, kills them. Or my boss, or, like...
Or
whoever,
human torpedo, whatever.
Yeah, he recognizes that he is singularly driven based on somebody else telling him what the direction is.
Well, and that's the character now in the series is he's not anymore. He's trying to find his own way. With all of the screwed up shit that created him,
Well, and that was the turn for that, is that it was that his dad was telling him what to do, and then Waller was telling him what to do, and then
but he felt bad every time he did those things.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, when he killed Flag, you saw it on his face in the movie. That was the only time where I was like, oh my God, he's really, like, he's actually nuanced a little bit more. Yeah, and Cena knows how to do what I didn't think he could do, which was make it nuanced. And then they really
emote?
Emote, yeah. Well, but then they really expanded on it in the show because it was like, he seems so one-dimensional in everything else he's done, and Gunn just like...
Or just, John Cena does those little bit parts.
Yeah.
Where he can play a big muscular, like, what was it, some Tina Fey, Amy Poehler movie where he was just a big muscular drug dealer and had this little face tattoo.
Oh,
and
I
he
was going to say,
like,
I just remember him in the Amy Schumer movie.
Trainwreck.
Yeah. He was like the big dumb boyfriend.
Talk about a parallel where, because he's just like also into dudes in Peacemaker, apparently. That in Trainwreck, he's like, you look like a dude, and comes. Like,
yeah. But I think that was part of it where he is trying to follow his own direction, but he still has enough of that initial, like, from his father, from Waller and everything, because I think if it was some other either superhero or even super villain that gave him that speech, he may have gone along with it, but he knew it was an alien, which was not very freedom of
you're talking about I gotcha.
Yeah.
Goff giving him the lowdown.
Sorry, stepping back a little bit back to that conversation.
Yeah.
Where just saying how finite, like, how he can be, he's at a real, like, I mean, he's at a fork in the road.
Crossroads,
where in comparison to episode 1 of the series, where are they going to do now? And is Waller still going to try to, since season 2 is greenlit, is Waller still going to try to put him back on a leash?
Well, Waller's kind of screwed. They did kind of screw themselves on a
well, yeah. Now that Tacey's with Argus now, which hates, was it like Checkmate or something is technically who Waller is, or something, that Black Ops group?
I thought Argus was all part of the same thing. Like, because she was...
It depends on what...
she's like a Black Ops part of it that
depends
no one
on
talks
what
about.
DC timeline break off or what story... Yeah.
I will say that one of the things I have problems with in a lot of superhero movies is I can suspend disbelief for a lot of things, but then there's things, if you don't organically get there, it takes you out of it.
When you take those...
Same reason I hate musicals. Like, no one sings to express emotion in the real world. But
that is wrong, sir. You have not been around this house long enough. That's pretty much
yes.
Amy
But
Bogart
you singing that you got egos is not the same thing.
and you know what?
I just got new bread flour. I'm gonna make a loaf. Like, yeah.
We thank the old gods and the new gods for not having to hear that.
That's fair.
So wait, are you telling me your house is like, what is it, a Sondheimer?
Sondheim, yeah.
Sondheim, yeah.
Honestly,
Oh,
not
God.
far off.
Poor
That
Amy.
sounds horrific.
Poor Amy. How do you vote for someone to get sainthood? And is Amy eligible for sainthood?
No, Amy's diving in with me. Like, she's singing the other
Well,
lines.
it's either join or just
join us or die.
Join us or die, yeah.
push you out of a fucking window. I mean, it's one of the two.
I mean, we are technically on the second floor.
Yeah.
Oh, Judo Master.
But no, so
Oh, we forgot about
no,
Judo
that's what
Master.
he was just getting ready to say that. So the speech that Goff gives and the explanation, like, I mean, it's very much just expletive. Like, they just just explain expletive's the wrong word, but they explain
I know what
it.
you're
You
saying,
know what I
though.
mean?
Yes.
So it's the explanation of everything to get to that point.
Right.
And she even says,
That's right.
once I told Judo Master, he joined us.
And he doesn't have an alien in the brain.
And he doesn't have an alien.
Right.
So, and, you know, again, it's one of those things where it's a throwaway. Like, you don't understand why Judo Master is fighting for them other than, like, is he getting paid? Does he just like to beat people up? Like, he's a tiny little dude. Flaming hot Cheetos. Yes. He is a tiny little dude.
Yeah.
And the fact, I don't even know, I don't know if Judo Master in the comics is. I'm assuming he's a character in the comics.
I can't remember off
material.
Again, we're
you're
pulling
talking about
from the
C8E level characters,
even going down to Z, like just depending on what's going on. Yeah.
But the fact that she, he, she, whoever Goff was at the time, told,
which I think is funny that the Goff character has been like multiple people, and everything at this point,
and it's still alive.
And it's still alive. Yeah, you're right.
Which
you're right.
that was also funny was every time you think you got a beat on what's going, he's like, no, he's doing it different. Like when he was in the jar to begin with, it was like, really? He's like,
and then like,
I mean, and you kind of, I will say that was one of the only like, I kind of saw that coming. Like he was like, they don't show him kill Goff, then you know it's either intentional or implied, and then it's like, okay.
Back to the emotional shit. How do you feel bad for a dying alien?
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Right?
Like when they kill what's his face, you're like, ah, you know.
You mean when they kill Myrn?
Myrn, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm crying over a fuck because he like touches
it looked
finger,
like a praying mantis and a fucking butterfly, and he's like
pushes her finger
puts his
away,
hand
like,
up,
go,
and he's like
go.
touches it. Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here with
I was
that
like,
shit, man.
What?
Yeah,
the hell? That's just. I will say right there. That's actually proof that what limited CGI they did, because a lot of the stuff. That's one of the other things that's great about the series is. A lot of that was just practical. Stuntman going through the wall, the rocker chick and all that shit. All of that was practical. None of that was digital.
And I got to say that is not even arguably, that is one of the greatest final battle scenes with practical effects.
Oh yeah,
and the farm like when they're just going to town.
Oh yeah,
on all the butterflies, like that was just
the
fucking
shooting.
Gunn just nutted everywhere. He's like, blood.
Well, I will say too, the gratuitousness, like it was what you mentioned before. You were like, I was going to show this to my kids, and I was like, nah. When he activates Sonic Boom on the rocker chick, and you see her splatter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was
awesome.
like, oh, they did not hold back.
No.
And then
well, it's on HBO, so
exactly. But at the same time, it's still a comic book movie, and how often do you get a good
The Boys? Like the other one with The Boys, that's really it. I'm never
really,
saying
that's true.
It.
Yeah,
that's The Boys. That's it. That's all you
but
got.
I mean, that was really on par with A-Train running through that girl. Same thing.
Yeah.
But then, like in the farm, when the dude is holding the helmet and she says "Activate Sonic Boom," and you see dude, and then the farmhouse level.
Yeah.
Those special effects were so good.
Yes.
It looked like a practical effect almost, like the way because they tie them together.
That's how CG should look.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And I've got to say, it was really refreshing and kind of a fun little James Gunn being Gunn. I feel like when he does this show and the loads of gratuitous violence, sex, nudity, fucking like racist stuff, all this shit. He basically created and it took the fuck off on a series that was basically technically Disney fired him for in the first place over a fucking tweet, dude. It is so
Right.
fucking good, man. I'm like, he's just like, fuck you.
But you notice after the Suicide Squad, and now especially, I mean, it had already.
No, they wanted him back after DC got. But I'm just saying they fired him over a fucking bullshit tweet from like 10 years prior to when that took place,
Right?
Or 8
That
years
he had
prior,
already apologized
and he
for.
apologized for, and he comes like, no, all
Exactly.
right, no, you know what? They're letting me do this. Fuck you.
Yep.
And he created just an ultimate, like it reminds me of Trauma Gun, but with a fucking baller budget and a hell of a lot better story.
Right.
Well, and that's what's funny about the fact that he was supposed to have been doing Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but you guys cut me, and I
so
got
he
this
did
other
Suicide
gig,
Squad instead,
and
yeah.
now you guys
Yeah.
want me back, but I'm already obligated on these things. And he's doing another spin-off from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that is the conversation where
Oh,
in
shit.
multiple interviews he's talked about that after he does
But
Guardians
it's not
3,
going to be funny.
He's going to be focusing on
as funny.
on
Yeah.
television and specifically DC television.
Mm-hmm.
Because after Suicide Squad,
that's
after
good.
the first Suicide Squad movie, and then all the accolades for his version, and then Peacemaker, DC is just like
He's their golden goose
yeah,
right now.
here's
Oh,
money,
yeah, absolutely.
and they're staying very hands off with him.
Thank God.
And
that's what they needed to be doing
the
from the
problem
beginning.
is because Marvel is getting so complicated between all the different iterations of stuff that
I don't
need
know how
to be
Feige keeps
compiled.
it straight, honestly.
I think that
Right?
James Gunn is just tired of that. I think they gave him a lot of freedom to start with Guardians, but that is getting
But then
smaller and smaller.
The reins started.
Yeah, we're in
tightening
phase
up.
4 now.
Yeah,
We're in phase
yeah.
4. You know, it's just.
So he
Yeah.
said that his last Guardians movie is 3 that he's done after
Well,
that.
here's the thing that I find funny about that: the Christmas special.
Oh right, yeah.
What in the did he convince them to do that?
Yes.
Like in the back of my mind,
he
I'm
did.
going, he had to be like, you know, what would be funny.
Yeah.
You know how
That's
Star
true.
Wars did a Christmas special? Like, why don't we do one for the Guard? Like, I feel like at this point he could just say anything. Like,
Yeah.
This
he's
is
got to
one
have a
of our-
dartboard of
This is one of
random
our
shit
friends.
in the ring.
Yeah.
Just throws
This is
and goes,
one of our
"Let's do
friends
this
that
now."
is
Yeah.
that is actually talented, that is dealing with all the people that we talk about on this show,
Mhm.
and they're just like, here's money, do a thing. And he's like, I don't know, let's do, I don't know, a Christmas special.
Christmas special?
And they're like, ooh, that's interesting.
Do they
He's like,
do Christmas in space?
and he was probably like, really? I was just making a joke. And they're like, no, actually, the Christmas special, people like Christmas, people like comic books. I think you have something here. And he's like, I was literally just referencing okay, how many, million? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm
I'm
gonna
in.
do it. Yeah,
Totally in.
cool.
I'll make
in.
it work.
Well,
I'll start writing.
You know, they did tie
Yeah.
it together because in Avengers, Stark does say, "Who is your master?" And he goes, "What am I supposed to say? Jesus?"
That is true. That is very, very
it's
true.
canon. Jesus is canon in the.
Are you from Earth? I'm from Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the same. No, he goes, "I'm from
Or whatever.
Kansas."
Kansas.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Earth on Earth, dumbass.
Yeah. I forgot
So,
what state he
speaking
said, but
speaking
yeah.
of dumbasses, can we talk about Vigilante?
Oh my
Dear
God.
God.
Yeah, no, we need to.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm like split with that character.
True
I
sociopath.
I
The
fucking
recast, though, the fact that they recast
Yeah.
and still did, I part of me fears what would have been the other character.
Sure, because this guy
Because this guy,
nailed it.
he eats up
Wait
every
a minute.
fucking scene.
Did I miss something about a recast? What happened?
Well,
They
Vigilante-
filmed 4 episodes with a different guy as Vigilante.
What?
Like 4 or 5
How
episodes.
did I miss that?
Yeah, it was all over the internet. They filmed 4 or 5 episodes, and the guy who was it, said he had creative differences or something, and Gunn was like, "Okay, we'll just refilm it."
That might be
wow.
So they didn't use those episodes.
They refilmed. It's like what they did with Crystalia in the Army of Dead movie. They just refilmed Tig Notaro and put her in the spots that he was.
digitally.
Anytime. Well, they didn't do it digitally for this,
but
but
there was
any
also-
scene where there was a scene where, because I mean, he has a different body size too. The original actor was
Yeah.
a little bit more like bulky, so they just had to refilm every
I
Vigilante
kind of like
shot.
Vigilante
Oh, wow.
being this like gangly dude.
Gangly dude, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The fact
yeah.
that and I don't know anything else that guy has been in that, like, off the top of my head.
No.
He could be familiar, but like, you know how they do it with different shows. But
Yeah.
he fucking, the way he played that as like a dumbass, but
Was
so fucking
And
brutal.
sociopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what
Sociopath.
you're talking about in the prison. I was going, oh my God, he's going to get his ass handed to him. And then he just fucking destroys
them.
Like,
And even when he got shot at the end, and he just, as he's falling down dying, he
after he's
throws
already
that
been
knife.
exploded with a grenade.
Yeah,
like,
he throws that knife and kills the dude as he's falling down.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is amazing.
So that's what I'm like split with the character. That's why I was wondering if they actually used the footage of the other guy, because I thought that might explain it. But my thing is, I love Vigilante when he's in full costume. I hate him with his mask off. I fucking hate him.
He's going like,
dude, I can't stand him.
Well,
when
he's
he's not in his
faces,
fucking
they can't
costume.
recognize
I
me.
literally wanted to punch my TV. I don't know, like I felt like the acting changed when he was out of his mask.
I don't think
weird.
I didn't feel like it did.
I totally did.
I didn't see a big change, but see, that's the whole thing about like how weird that character is, especially in this series. I mean, you read up and you see who the actual James Gunn got pretty on point with the character based on the source material, but you notice from Vigilante from almost the get-go where he first shows up at Peacemaker's trailer and Peacemaker smoking weed, he goes, "You realize 2 years ago I would have killed you for that."
No. That was when he was
You're
smoking
a
weed
joint,
That's
dude.
after they tag team dude's wife.
Yeah.
Which that scene specifically, and this I want to get into as well, is that Peacemaker is technically like bisexual, and it's talked about by his dad. And
you laid with men and women.
Yep. That's the scene where when the dad later on in where he has the confrontation with his dad, like laid with whores, laid with men. I'm like, yeah, he like literally saw that earlier. Like, I don't know why that is. And I understand the Devil's Triangle. Sometimes the dicks don't touch parts, but like
you got a mouth and you're two opposite ends. Yeah,
that was actually from interviews
Finger
I've heard.
cuffs.
That was actually John Cena's suggestion. Is that he's a party boy. It's not that it's not even that in his head that he's attracted to men. That if it's a party, it's a party, and then you just go.
There's no wrong time to rock.
Yeah,
exactly, dude.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like that a mouth's a mouth kind of mentality where he doesn't even think about it as bisexuality.
Well, think about it too.
Turn off the lights and find a hole.
No, so he
you know.
even says when, like when he's talking about when he's in the rocker chick's apartment, he's like, when men were men and they weren't afraid to dress like women.
No, remember when men were men because they dressed like women.
Yeah, because they dressed
Yeah.
I was like, like that's like that encompassing remark of glam rock and glam hair metal and stuff like that basically solidifies that for that character. Like he doesn't hate people. He was just brought up in hate.
But also, I think it is a conversation on the trope that his character was built on in the first place.
Correct.
It's like the comic book version of this character was this like bigger than life 80s action hero kind of character that was like super machismo, super manly.
Yeah.
And to take that and then put it on its head to a point where it's like, I'm so oversexed, I'm so juiced
That
up.
it doesn't matter who.
That it doesn't matter who I
basically.
fuck. I need to fuck. And if a dude's just like, hey, muscly man, he's like, that'll work. Like, he just doesn't care at all. Where it's that he's so horny that he's horny into bisexual. Like
Yeah.
he like his horny,
Almost, is it like by default or something?
well, like I think if you were as horny as I assume Peacemaker is, you just have to be bisexual.
Especially with being in jail for 4 years.
We've all been there.
True.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
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 No,
Huh?
I mean,
Huh?
The crazy thing about is in that scene where the finger cuff scene, Vigilante still got his costume on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
oh, he's still got the face mask.
He's got
on.
the full like upper. You can see the
I
upper
think,
part
I
of
think
the
he
suit.
just sort of opens up the bottom part at one point.
Yeah, because he can drop his trousers to pee. It's like, dude,
Right.
why do you drop your old pants? It's like, oh, I can't piss with something on my ass. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Hey, that's actually, I walked in on a guy in the bathroom with his pants around his, like a full grown man.
Oh my god.
Pants around his ankles at the urinal. And
Ugh.
I'd never seen that before. And then when it was in Peacemaker, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I literally just experienced that for the first time like 3 weeks ago. And all of a sudden
So-
it's in the show. I'm like,
That's one of
I
the
can't
things-
have a rational, normal, unique
That's one of the things-
thought.
it's got to be more of a thing than any of us know it to be.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I know this is kind of a hard term, but I feel like there's like one more character that, at least to me, that we need to bring up. He was badass in the whole show. Is a fucking Eagly, dude. Eagly kicked ass, man.
You know
Like,
that Gunn originally tried to make it so that Eagly was not CG?
What?
I am
That would've
not
been
surprised.
So fucking rad.
I am actually not surprised.
That was one of the.
Though
that
the
was
CG was solid.
But the CG
Yes.
was
Yeah,
solid.
yeah, absolutely.
But they originally tried to film with
probably
a
too
fucking
hard
eagle, and it
to
was like
fucking-
you can't train a fucking eagle.
To hug someone.
To
Freedom.
Well, the
Yeah.
hugging obviously would have been digital,
No.
but like just to have it on set, period.
Yeah.
It wouldn't like for some reason. There's, I mean, how do you train a bald eagle or they're a
Also-
national treasure? But like,
I mean, well, like
they
ultimate
tried,
freedom.
and he was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he goes, we learned after the first day that wasn't happening.
Yeah.
But no, I thought Eagly was awesome.
It was
man.
great.
He
No, a good
fucking-
and even another great side note, which I mean we've made the jokes, but from what we know of the show, or if you read up on anything, what's your favorite helmet?
Oh. I honestly, the levitation helmet that didn't help them
They
at
didn't
all.
use-
Right.
That's my favorite.
That was good.
Just because of the joke that came from, where it's like, yeah, I got all these helmets. Like any other hero would have one helmet that did all those things. And
Right.
here's this dude that has a duffel bag full of fucking
it was
the
his
same
dad
looking
that was
helmets.
making them. It wasn't even him that made them.
I know, but
Yeah.
but the
You
fact
know,
that like they're like, this is the one helmet we need to do this thing, and then it's voice activated and just floats off into the fucking ether and just becomes not usable. It's fucking great.
I mean, I would say as much as I love the Sonic Boom one, it's got to be the Human Torpedo because both times, the first time was a complete fail, and then the second time it was just hilarity ensued.
Well, and it was a prototype.
And it was
It
a
was
prototype.
well because the warning was given that you could use it, but you'd basically crush your own body.
Yeah.
I'll say the least favorite helmet for anyone is probably the Scabies
Oh
helmet.
yeah,
Oh,
Scabies
that's
for all.
true.
Yeah.
And we didn't see all the helmets either. They didn't use.
Well,
like
yeah,
10
yeah.
of
So
them.
I was going to point that out. So in the I forget how he describes it, but the closet that opens up into a different dimension.
It's like a quantum closet.
quantum.
thing.
Yeah, that's what it was. He was like a quantum fold closet or something.
Right.
When they go in there and there's way more helmets than what you see. The only thing that they didn't really explain, and I would have liked to, and maybe they will in season 2 since it's been greenlit. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Which we're excited about.
Mhm.
But the fact that they didn't explain why his father made him those helmets. If he's such a white supremacist and such a supervillain,
Sure.
why would he
Yeah.
make those things for his son unless he thought he was making them to fight on the same side? Like that he was a villain, because
But they could
that's kind of the trope they do
could
too.
explain that more in season 2, though.
They could.
Yeah.
And in the original comic, Peacemaker's dad is a voice in his head. It is something he sees. So the fact that they ended the season with that,
Yes.
they reference the source material again. He's gonna be in season 2 as his dad, but he's dead, obviously.
Right.
But so the fact that he killed him makes never mind. As a matter of fact, the fact that he killed him really ties into the original character. Like it's a voice in his head, and there's actually more than just his dad, apparently, in the original comics.
Yeah.
I don't think there needs to be as much explanation about building the helmets as if you look at and I'm talking about, like, I was fortunate enough that my shitty dad like disappeared out of my life at 10, but I have plenty
Did he
of
leave
friends.
you cool helmets?
He did leave me. I got a starter jacket.
Does it give scabies to all?
I got a starter jacket and a Super Scope 6 for the Super Nintendo.
Nice.
But with a lot of in movies and also with friends that I know, the shitty father that is constantly judgmental will support the kid trying to do a thing that would make them proud. And then the minute that there's any fluctuation on perfection is when they shit on them. So the helmets, it makes sense that he would make those, being like, okay, cool, you want to be a superhero? Like, I'll give you all the tools and I'll watch you fail. And basically being like, you have everything. At
maybe. Oh yeah, maybe. I
can see
think
that.
the only thing that doesn't track for that with me is that he was such a piece of shit that I don't even think he would have made them to encourage his son to be a superhero.
At that point.
Yeah, but I'm saying he was a piece of shit from the beginning when he killed his brother.
No,
when
he
was there when he killed his brother.
No, sure, but I mean, there is in-betweens where, like, you see him as the, like, what did you do? You killed your brother. But that's like 2 seconds of when he's seeing his son die.
Yeah.
There is a full, 30 years.
Like, you smiled when you watched Peacemaker Chris kill that dude, stabbing him in the gut. Like, you saw him as a proud papa in the background.
Okay,
kinda smiling at him. Yeah.
Well, even
but like I said, I feel like he might have been making them to help, the White Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Well, I'm sure that was
Peacemaker
the intention.
is helping kill people.
Or to throw it out in left field,
straight
where the helmets were originally made for
Just
the
white
brother, and that's part of the reason why he was so pissed that the brother got killed.
Oh,
maybe.
that's actually a really good idea.
That's a good angle.
Because
also,
the brother is older, right?
Keith was
As
the older
well?
brother.
Keith was
yeah.
older, yeah.
That can
Yeah.
also be talked about as the numbers are suspect in the first episode. Is that maybe when he became a hero at the first part, a lot of his he talked about it in the later episodes. Is the one thing that my father and I believed in, and was like law or peace or whatever.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that we aligned with. Is that
But only for white people.
well? Is that maybe that's why his numbers were skewed? Is that when he got into the
Semantics.
superhero game, he was being like directed in certain directions.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And then as he became more of his own version of himself, those numbers started like turning into just whoever was being.
Well, and if
Yeah.
you think about it, I guess now that I've said it out loud and you guys have bounced those ideas, if you think about it from, God, this is gonna be a weird phrase, but if you think about it, white supremacist logically,
Is that the title of the episode? I hope not.
no, please no, I don't
No,
want to.
dear
No, but
God.
if you think about it in terms of what White Dragon was trying to do, he's trying to make a white America. So if Peacemaker
sure.
is trying to create peace by any means necessary, in White Dragon's mind, it's a white America. But in Peacemaker's mind, it's just America. So it's almost
Oh,
like
yeah,
a more
yeah.
granular
Yeah.
version of it. But his dad creating those things for him, his dad was creating them for his own reasons.
Yeah.
Peacemaker was using them for reasons that weren't
Yeah.
as skewed in.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
But on that, speaking of really stupid fucking ideas, we have the last little bit of this episode that we got to do before we tap out here. Is our last little bit of nonsense. We're talking about making a drunken scene.
Making a drunken scene.
So I have a couple here, and
forgot
they're
to
on different screens here. But there's one that is
Enough man for
the
you.
final scene with all the heroes, and
Which was the fact that cameo, even those cameos even happened.
Exactly.
Was like I literally
yeah.
sat back and was like, "What the fuck is happening?" I was so excited.
But they only had budget for 2 of the 4.
I know,
You
right?
know that wasn't Gal Gadot
Oh,
in the
God,
fucking
no.
Wonder Woman.
But you know what? They
Didn't
used
matter.
the best
They used
two
the
to
best
have
two.
the back and forth about it.
Oh, yeah,
was
sure.
Perfect.
The two
No,
funniest,
totally.
Perfect.
the
But you
two
could tell that
funniest
wasn't Henry Cavill.
and ones
yeah.
that don't,
wasn't Gal
and
yeah.
ones that don't
Yeah.
take themselves seriously. Absolutely.
Exactly. No, it perfect. I'm just like, you could just tell, like, all right, money.
No.
Right.
Well, and I will say this, just seeing it up here, the titles of the episodes are amazing.
amazing.
Oh
Yes,
yes,
yes.
The other scene is from The Chode Less Traveled, which is between Augie's neighbor and Peacemaker.
Oh, the old man. We didn't
Yeah.
fucking-
Oh,
We're
the
talking
old
about
man,
Peacemaker
yeah.
doesn't kill people is the conversation. So we need, for the first part, we need 3 people. We need a Peacemaker, we need a Aquaman, and we need a Flash.
Aquaman. I'll be my Jason Momoa.
Don't do Flash.
Okay.
I'll be Peacemaker. I can do Peacemaker.
Okay. So we got who's Carlton? You're Peacemaker.
I'll be Peacemaker.
Aquaman.
Scotty is Aquaman, and then okay,
Flash.
then Flash. Okay,
My man,
so I'll
Jason.
just throw it over to the other screen
Mm.
when it's your turn. Okay.
You're gonna read the description then, right? You'll be the voice of
narrate this motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's just do this one then. Like, we don't have to do the other one.
All
The other
4
one's
of us.
dumb. Okay. I'll just be the dialogue here.
So
okay, here we go.
Are you gonna move it back over? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The Justice League arrives to help Peacemaker.
You're late, you fucking dickheads. Go fuck another fish, asshole.
I'm so sick of the fucking rumor.
It's not a rumor.
Fuck you, Barry.
Yay! That was. It took a minute for me to see the last episode, and I heard about like a guest
Same.
appearance, and it got like half spoiled, not like fully spoiled, but like a little bit where there was some Justice League elements in there. I didn't know to what degree.
Definitely the fish fucking meme started popping
Yeah,
up, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, something happened in the last
So,
episode."
People get
So-
lazy with the spoilers on a season finale.
Yeah.
Like they'll just be like, "Oh, we're done now, right?" And like, no, fucking give it a fucking day or two.
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
this too. Here's the best part about that. When we mentioned it earlier with the whole economist beard thing. Anytime a superhero or villain was mentioned, Peacemaker had a story about him. Even Adebayo says it in the thing.
Yes.
He's got a story for everybody.
Yep.
They're not real.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I heard that one's real.
Peppy the Frog
And then
2029 wouldn't lie to me.
Kite Man.
You know more than Google? Congratulations.
Yeah, Kite Man and all that stuff. But he did they even did it as part of the ad campaign where it was like if he fought Polka Dot Man and he fought Batman or whatever. But the fact that they did that constantly through the series and then again brought it back at the end as just one fucking joke, but they had to have those guys there to do that joke justice.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
Justice.
Momoa and the Flash, those were great choices.
It was amazing.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he was like, that it was a throwaway thing they've been doing the entire season, and then
That's
it's
the payout
inside
at the end.
joke
Yeah.
of it all was
Yes.
that he fucking was there.
So technically,
Yeah.
that's saying is that like this is part of the Snyderverse. Is what it's saying,
Exactly.
too.
Yes.
So there's
Well-
this whole like clusterfuck, like fucking a doorknob level of superherodom that's happening in the Snyderverse.
Well, he
as far
listed-
as-
so-
Well, DC
Oh,
killed
man.
the Snyderverse.
well, I mean,
Well, maybe.
a
Well,
version of the
Yeah.
Snyderverse because I think Flash is really going to be where you tie in where there's some people still
Well,
playing the
the whole-
characters and
always reverting back to Flashpoint to change DC something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But the fact that they did that just shows that maybe DC is starting to not take itself so seriously, and that might be part of their saving grace
Maybe.
because they what they did wrong, everybody knows it from the beginning, was they made it super dark and serious, and then they were like, that's too far, and then they made it too lighthearted the other direction, and the disconnect between that made it so
hard to pull them
hard
together.
to pull them together.
Yeah.
So but you get somebody like Gunn that he walks that line really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And then to let them pull in Momoa and just do that whole thing and
Yeah.
make it work and be
Right.
funny with it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that made me so happy.
Yeah.
I think I've got to give props to DC because they really found their medium ground. Because if you look at it's the live action series, they were always great with the cartoon movies,
Sure. Yep.
or certain series. But if you look at Titans, Doom Patrol,
That's exactly what I was going to say.
all that their series with the occasional movie, they've found their
Much
right
better
stride.
formula.
That they have definitely found it.
Yep.
All right. And we are finding ourselves at the end of this episode. So thank you so much
Damn it.
for sticking around for this very fun episode all
Absolutely.
about Peacemaker. How can you not have fun when talking about Peacemaker? It was such a
Bring me back for season 2.
holy shit. It was.
And before that too.
I'm so
Well,
happy.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
of course.
No, just season 2. No.
I'm so happy there's season 2. I'm so happy to see what happens after him sitting on the porch at the very end with Eagly and
Goff.
and
Goth and his dad.
And his dad in
his
his
dad.
head.
and his dad in his
Yeah.
head. And Goff, which he said is like, maybe I'm trying to make up for something by having a dangerous pet. It's like, I think of every friend I've known that has pet snakes. But it was a great, like, lucid moment for Peacemaker that I thought was amazing.
It's so
But,
good. It's so good.
yeah,
Yeah.
the show's amazing. I'm so happy that there was an opportunity for James Gunn to explore this after
Stretch his
Suicide
legs.
Squad. Absolutely. And I'm
Yes.
really looking forward to seeing what he's doing in the DC universe after this as well, after Guardians 3. So we look forward to it. I'm sure we'll do episodes on all that stuff. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff you do with podcasts for Geeks Under the Influence. And also, I know that I can actually say this now. I have accepted an offer to have a job at Podchaser, which is the world's largest database of podcasts.
Yep.
So we have reviews on our website from Podchaser. I've interviewed with I did a interview with them years ago as a creator, and they're a great resource. They don't sponsor the show. It's just that that's my day job now is to work in the podcast industry, and I'm really.
But you can hype it up all you want, brother.
But I will say they are one of the few places, as far as podcasting go, where you can actually leave an actual review, not just a star rating,
right?
But an actual review. So not just Apple Podcasts, which please do that as well, but Podchaser, check it out. You can look at what podcasts, listen to other podcasts, what creators do other stuff.
Well, and
you can leave reviews for all the different shows.
I was even going to say they have a great thing where you can actually put in like your top 5 for your profile, so they know who you're following, and you can change it as need be, and do real fun stuff with it.
If you're a podcast nerd like we are, then definitely even if you're not a creator, it's a great resource to find out if there's somebody you like, what shows they've been on, where they've guested. You know, there's lots of stuff. I don't want to make this a commercial for my day job, but that is a place to review us as well.
You know, one thing that it doesn't do though, it doesn't tell you how bad the Peace Train tasted. That's pretty sure that's not on the. There's no category for that on Podchaser.
We will probably hear that from anybody that's dumb enough to actually follow suit with us and try it themselves. But we'll find you next time for another episode of Geeks Under the Influence. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Mike the Hobbit. Join us or die.
Eat peace, Hobbit.
Join us or die. Join us or die. Or I will swallow your soul.
GUIPodcast.com.
Just
do that again.
yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.